It's that time of the year again where I'm at an event where I get to test drive brand new cars, but can only have them for 35 minutes. So this is going to be a really quick video, but I thought where better to start than with a product that I kind of already know. This is the brand new 2022 Polo GTi. So this is the version that's had a few revisions, including that very controversial infotainment system. In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this version of the GTi and if anything has changed with the facelift. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to start with is this key. I'm slightly disappointed. This isn't the new style key. Of course, the Polo has always been the cheaper end of the products for Volkswagen, so I imagine that that's why they haven't upgraded to the new kind of gloss black keys. But that does mean you do still have a physical key that I know a lot of people like. In fact, when I worked at Volkswagen, people didn't like the keyless models because they were much more a target for theft. But let me know, what do you think down below? Do you like a physical key or would you prefer your car to be keyless? So what has actually changed for the new facelifted version of the Polo GTi? Well, this is actually the first time I've seen a facelifted version of any of the Polos. And the main difference is, I think it has a slightly softer feel about it. It's slightly more rounded. I don't really know how I feel about that. I liked the boxy shape of the new Polo, but this version is just a little bit softer. There's now a more prominent and sculpted front grille with larger honeycomb details, and the front fog lights are now integrated into that honeycomb. You've also, of course, got new LED lights and that classic light bar which runs all the way along the front of the car. Now, this new light bar is something that I'm actually really loving. I think it makes the car look so good at night, and it definitely is super interesting. The GTi also gets the optional regular Polo IQ lights as standard, some big car tech that was first seen on the third generation Touareg. The GTi comes with the same 15mm lowered sport suspension, two-stage dampening, meteor front anti-roll bars and more rigid mounts at the rear as before. I must admit, I'm not actually one for red cars, but I think it looks fantastic on the Polo. The red paintwork with the contrasting black roof and also those black side skirts. You get 17-inch wheels as standard with those red brake calipers, or you can also upgrade to 18s. But actually, I think the 17s suit the Polo and they help with the ride comfort. Around the back, you've got a slightly redesigned tailgate for 2022. You've still got a great extended spoiler, and classic for Volkswagen, you've got the new badge which you still pop in to open the boot. Boot space on the Polo in general has always been extremely competitive. For a small car, it's actually quite generous. Inside you'll find about 350 litres, which is significantly larger than on the 292 litre one belonging to the Fiesta ST. You also get a lot of usability as well. You've got an adjustable boot floor, plus I'm really glad to see that despite this car has the Beats sound pack, it still actually has a spare wheel, which is something you don't see very often nowadays. Now, I'll have to double check to see if that is a paid upgrade, but usually if you added the Beats sound system, it actually went where the spare wheel used to be. So it's really good to see both of those. Ish from the future here. A spare wheel is definitely an upgrade, which will cost you around £100. As for the Beats sound system, it does seem to be an upgrade, but unfortunately is now no longer available due to the chip shortage. This facelifted car has also come with a touch more power, an uplift of 7 more horsepower to 207, and acceleration has dropped from 6.7 seconds to 6.5, which now brings it in line with the Fiesta ST. Whilst interior quality remains relatively unchanged, it has had some fresh updates to bring it in line with the new models. It features the brand's new shape gear lever and steering wheel, as well as a new digital instrument cluster, which is now standard. The digital dash is clear and easy to configure. It does help justify the Polo GTi's premium price in this segment. If you're feeling brave, you can also have the gloss parts finished in red,
but I much prefer them in the subtle grey.
I'm seriously pleased to see that this Polo GTi still has the fantastic checkered interior, which is so classic for Volkswagen GTi products. If you don't like Jacara GTi interior, then I'm sorry, you're not a Volkswagen fan.
Despite the interior being a homage to its history, the seats in the Polo do their job, but there are nicer sports seats on the market. For example, in the new Fiesta ST. They might no longer be Recaros, but the Ford Performance seats are definitely a step above the Polo. Just like the other new models, the Polo gets touch-sensitive climate control dials, which though they're not quite as good as physical buttons, at least they're not in the screen like on the Golf. The Polo's infotainment system is clear and easy to use. Unlike the Golf, it gets a physical volume control button, but it does suffer from the same issues, and that's that it's not always the most responsive. Sat-nav is standard, but not always the quickest, although luckily Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is standard and wireless.
Okay, let's get going. Now the first thing we notice is we have a physical handbrake, which I really like in a car this size. Oh, and she hasn't put it in gear, that might help. Right, sorry about that. Let's get back on the road. As I was saying, I do really like having a physical handbrake in smaller cars. I always thought that I liked a kind of a digital handbrake or that I wasn't bothered. But actually in my Bath, I've gotten used to it and I think it suits the size of car.
A trump card in the new Polo GTi is the standard Sport Select suspension. It allows you to, at the touch of a button, firm up the car's adaptive dampeners to make it better suited to spirited driving. In this mode, the Polo GTi retains a responsibly comfortable ride, but becomes more composed through corners and hugs the road better, especially over dips and crests.
One thing I am really pleased about is the sound of this car. It sounds really good actually, a lot better than I was expecting. You can definitely get some great exhaust notes from this vehicle, although you do have to work it quite hard to get them. Cars like my Bath are just noisy 24/7. However, with the Polo GTi, you just have to kind of get those downshifts perfect to get the right amount of noise out of the exhaust. Now, whilst of course it's most definitely a good thing that this car now has more power, it does kind of change the type of car that it actually is. As I mentioned, it no longer feels like a pocket rocket. It's more of a hot hatch. It's more comparable to the old Golf GTi. It's kind of taken its place. And I guess the Up GTi has taken the place of the Polo. But it means that it's just a bit too sensible really for my liking, especially paired with this automatic gearbox. In my personal opinion, a car this size that's this much fun should have at least the option of having a manual gearbox. The change-ups, just like the Golf, are a little bit slow, and it does leave the Polo feeling not as engaging as I would want. You want to be able to downshift, you want to be able to hear those pops and crackles, and of course you do have the paddles which help with that, but nothing will replace that feel of a physical manual box.
This car has big car energy. It's capable of attacking the B roads whilst taking on its rivals, matching the 0-62 sprint of the Fiesta ST, but not quite doing it with as much fun as the i20N. However, the Polo GTi is more versatile than ever, with a gearbox that now decouples and coasts when you lift off on motorways to save fuel. Is the Polo now the ultimate all-rounder? At just under £28,000, the updated 2022 Polo GTi has been priced at nearly £1,500 above the i20N and even more above the Fiesta ST, but it does feel more versatile than those cars and comes with some big car tech. But at £10,000 less than the Golf GTi, it seems a bit of a bargain. Although, if you're looking for outright fun and want to save a further £10,000, then you should probably just go for the Up GTi.
It's strange, I've really enjoyed this car. I can imagine that it will be a great all-rounder for people that want to commute because you've got that easy automatic gearbox, but then it also is really good fun if you want to pop it in manual and you want to have a laugh with it. But the problem is I just feel that it's not fun enough anymore, and it kind of makes me appreciate the Up GTi even more. So there we have it, that's my thoughts on the brand new 2022 facelifted version of the Polo GTi. A car which in my opinion is a fantastic all-rounder, but is just perhaps a little bit too grown up for its own good. But let me know, what do you think of the Polo GTi? Pop it in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more car reviews, then make sure you're subscribed to Auto Social UK. Until next time guys, see you later.